the line.
Sean Elliott with us here on ESPN 1250 The Zone at the Clear Store on 281 and Bitters. And you talk about the additions. Steven Jackson comes in, Boris Diaw, and, we all talked, they need to find another big, but then the question was, well, is Boris Diaw really the guy you want? Yeah. Same thing with backup point guard, which became a necessity when TJ Ford abruptly retired, and it's Patty Mills, and you're thinking, well, is Patty Mills the guy? And then you realize, well, Steven Jackson obviously knows the system, and they've wanted him, and, I love that acquisition. But Boris Diaw, I don't think many realized until he got here the French connection, and the French national team runs the Spurs stuff, so he's familiar. The Australian national team connection because of Brett Brown, that Patty Mills is familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like the Spurs always make the right moves and the moves that nobody is expecting.
They scored a couple coups here down the stretch. I mean, I was as surprised as anybody to show up and find Boris Diaw in a Spurs uniform. And I've been saying from the beginning of the year, a lot of Spurs fans this summer are saying we need another big, but we had that big in Thiago Splitter. And the thing that you have to love about those two guys is that they're versatile. They may not, sit there and play way above the rim and block shots like a guy like Serge Ibaka from Oklahoma City, but there are a lot of guys out there like that. But these guys are bangers. They're not afraid to play the 4 and 5 position. They're very good passers, both of them. Thiago has been exceptional. And Boris Diaw, here's a guy who's had triple doubles in his career. They can rebound the basketball. They see the floor. They have high basketball IQs, these guys. And so I would take that any day over having a guy who may get you more rebounds or a big bruiser who blocks shots, because these guys are interchangeable and they're versatile and they're going to make people around them better, and they can score the basketball as well. So, you ask a lot of bigs around this league, and they're terrified of that combination because you get bigs like that who can pass the ball, know how to move, and that are mobile. It's a headache for a lot of bigs defensively. If you fall asleep, Thiago's going to cut back door on you, get a layup. If you're a guard on the perimeter and you come down a double team, guy doesn't make a rotation, Thiago can make passes out of the double team. Boris Diaw sees the entire floor. He gets very tricky with his passes. So they fit into what we're trying to do, and they fit in so well that it just makes them that's a two-headed monster there. It makes them incredibly dangerous.
Sean Elliott joins us here on ESPN 1250 over the next month. There's the opportunity at worst maybe to go 12-4 with over the stretch, but you take a look at the schedule 3 times against the Los Angeles Lakers. You've been with Pop. You understand Pop's mentality when it comes to taking a look at the schedule and the team. How does he go about preparing for games against the mentality or a team like the Los Angeles Lakers?
I think he approaches it just like it's another game. Obviously, your players are going to be all jacked up against the Lakers. Even if the Lakers were terrible, you come out there and you see that uniform and you're going to play hard. So the players are going to take care of business emotionally and as far as what they have to do. I think that coaching staff is more concerned about how they perform. They're not looking at the Lakers saying, we got to do something different than what we've always done. We just want to continue to get better. And if we play our game, they're going to have to play a better game. They're going to have to raise it to another level to beat us. So I don't think we prepare differently for any team out there. I think we come out every single night with the mentality that we're trying to get better, and it's about us rather than them.
And one of the examples of that, and we just saw it last weekend, 3 games in 3 nights. One of the big 3 missed every game. You had Gary Neal out. You had Thiago Splitter out. Yet they still won games. How? Yeah. I mean, there was some of the you're looking at, all right, well, that's a loss. So we're going to mail that one in. But they're able to get the wins.
There's so many weapons. It really speaks to our depth. The other night in Sacramento, we looked at halftime. We didn't have one player in double figures, but we had a guy with 7, a guy with 8. Oh, there are 2 guys with 9 points. Oh, here are 2 or 3 guys with 6. And you're looking around and you're going, we don't have somebody that's standing out, but everybody's doing something. And that's what happens. You don't have Tony against what was the Dallas Mavericks. Mm-hmm. So you have Manu and you have Steven Jackson and you have Gary Neal pick it up at that point guard position. They play very well. And then the next night, Manu stays home, and you have in New Orleans, Tony Parker comes through with 10 and 10. Timmy looks good. You have guys making shots, and it was a little bit of a sluggish game, in my opinion, but you still are able to get that road win. You come back home, and really the game that I thought would give us the most problems because it's the third 3 nights, and you're not playing Tim Duncan, but then you get a solid contribution from virtually everybody that's out there on the floor. So that's been the theme here. And when you look at this team going forward, if we can figure out the rotations consistently, which we haven't had a whole lot of time to do, obviously, because you're adding these 2 new players. You look at, and let me go back to the Sacramento game in that first quarter when I looked at the floor and I see Manu Ginobili out there with Steven Jackson and Tiago Splitter and Boris Diaw, and I'm going, wait a minute.
Where's my flip card?
Yeah, exactly. Look at all these passers out here. I mean, for me, it was just, I was excited